Others? Ms. Boothman,
I would-
you've
Madam
had
Mayor?
quite a bit of time to comment here.
I have
so-
a couple of questions, and I need to ask Kathleen, please.
Okay, please.
And just comments back and forth.
Please.
Kathleen, first of all, the question is, why do we need a radius at all? Why would not the business of economics dictate whether it's economically feasible for a farmer to come 200 miles with what they have to sell? Is that not a limiting factor?
It's really the business of the farmer. I mean, they're in business.
Exactly. So so what I'm saying is, if we didn't put a limitation on it, would the economics of the distance itself be the limitation? Does that make sense?
Most likely.
Okay.
And
so don't we already have 100-mile?
we have 100.
But we're not enforcing it.
No, we grandfathered 2 vendors in the market that were beyond the 100 miles, and that was the Durfee family and the Boothmans.
Okay.
Because they have a history in the market. So, and the Tonamakers as well. Thank you.
And so we came up with a 150-mile radius. How did we come up with that number?
The advisory board came up with that number. I personally would recommend 200. I think, it's
Okay.
the problem with 200 and the problem with 150, if you look at the radius that was put on the screen for the administrative committee on Monday, is we do have the Tri-Cities now. And we go all the way to Baker, Oregon, and we go north of Spokane. We go on into Montana. So it's a pretty far-reaching area.
200.
But, when I tried to do the Google and realized the Boothmans were out of the circle, I was concerned because they've been with us for quite a long time. And they are orchardists, and they've been in the market for a long time. They've invested in a home in Pullman. They're on their 7th child through WSU. They're not unfamiliar with Moscow and the Moscow Farmers Market. So that's my main concern is I don't know if the 150 is advisable.
175 work?
I think that'd be fine.
So,
Hey.
Oh, let's go with kilometers.
But there was a discussion about the grandfather clause, too.
Right, and then-
In the previous situation, that worked.
Pardon me?
Grandfathering long-timers worked in
Yeah,
the previous
the
scenario.
2, yes.
So,
3.
in fact, the council could adopt the 4 recommendations of the advisory board and grandfather in.
Well, if you remember in the
somebody if they
strategic
chose.
plan, it was recommended not to be grandfathering. And I personally don't think that's a good policy because it's like an automatic ticket. And I don't think that's fair to the market. Just like we can't sell our booths, one farmer can't sell his booth to another farmer. So I think the grandfathering, that's not a good message for our market. That needs to go away.
Okay. The other concern I have, Wayne, you brought it up in talking about the economics of the radius. And, if we are bringing in warmer growing climates, we can also bring in bigger producers, and it is worth their while to bring larger quantities, which our small local growers may not be able to compete with. And I think that is some of the rationale for the smaller radius in that case. So if you're talking about the economics of local farmers, they may be challenged to compete with some of the larger growers outside the area. Dan?
And again, this is where I started this, and as we can see, there's a lot of tension with what could or may or may not happen. So I still think that we need to stay with the 2012 policies and let a newly formed commission vet these for us. I mean, I'm not saying they're bad. They're bad recommendations, but it's just coming from the vendors. It's not coming from a more eclectic group, I guess is a word for it. Let's throw the $3 word out there today. And
How about a $3 motion?
and I'm willing
Gary
to...
has a comment here. Gary, what were you about to say?
Yeah, and my comment was just the recommendation that was made at Administrative Committee. And I think Dan made an eloquent point, and that is there are many views here. Obviously, this issue is not laid to rest. The public has not weighed in on this issue. There was if you recall the survey that was done during the strategic planning, it was not a get rid of resale, 100% or anything like that. The mileage, those sorts of things. These issues are still alive, and this commission has the ability and will have the mission to vet these things out. The discussion about economics, will that be sufficient to limit farmers from coming? It could. But the largest farms in Washington, some of the largest farms in central Washington, are within the 150-mile radius, and they aren't here now. So I don't know that the fact that it goes 200 or 300 miles really makes a big difference, because you're already taking in the breadbasket of Washington.
It's a 100-mile radius now, right?
No, well, I thought you were talking about the 150 is what you were referring
Well, I mean,
to.
the reason they're not here is because we have a 100-mile radius, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, my point would be that this is the same issue that we talked about with the policies. It's obvious that there is a lot of opinion, and we need some help in getting to what the public wants. And this is just another way to let that commission do its work. Thank you.
Thank you. Sue, did you have your hand up?
Well, I just wanted to say one thing, that I looked up the market policies on the website, city website, and it says they're adopted by the City Council and they're developed from input sent to City Council by the Farmers Market Advisory Board, which represents market vendor interests, and the Arts Commission, which represents city arts-related interests, and additionally from public and city staff input. In other words, the buck stops here. The authority was not given to a board to do something for us, and we're not abrogating it. And I would like Dan to make his motion.
Dan?
I'm making a motion to direct staff to continue the 2012 City Council adopted farmers market policies for the 2013 market season, and to forward any proposed policy recommendations and changes to the newly created Farmers Market Commission.
Second.
Okay, we have Dan's motion and Sue's second. Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll start a roll call vote with you, Tim.
Aye. No.
Aye.
Aye.
Well, you changed my mind. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.